This is hilarious as a new potential signing for the Rams is making a division rival worried about the season. We are also saluting and tipping the cap to an NFL great announcing his retirement. All on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Press that subscribe button now, as roughly 65.7% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not subscribed to the channel. If you're already watching, might as well press that subscribe button, as it doesn't cost you a thing, and it will help you make sure you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. First things first, we are sitting and discussing how a division rival, they're kind of scared of this potential signing going to the Los Angeles Rams. And I will say, I think the NFL should be put on notice if this signing were to go through. Now, will it happen? Is it something that we can potentially see? Right now, it's just something that Bleacher Report is predicting could happen, or maybe should happen, when we're talking about potential signings in free agency. But overall, if this is something that I think Rams fans are probably interested in seeing. Cardinals rival urged to sign 5-time Pro Bowl wide receiver. The Arizona Cardinals division rival could benefit from this training camp prediction. So Bleacher Report came out. They made some predictions on what could happen this upcoming training camp, as there's a lot of free agents out there, right, that are still, on the market, potentially to add to Super Bowl contending teams, right? Some really talented players who are maybe just aging, maybe just not in a position to necessarily demand a bunch of money right now, and so they're trying to wait out and see what position makes the most sense for some of these last few free agents that haven't signed yet. And one of those guys is making the Arizona Cardinals a little bit nervous. We're actually pulling this from the Arizona Cardinals Sports Illustrated page. Bleacher Report pitches a scenario in which star wide receiver Amari Cooper, who spent last season with the Buffalo Bills, joining the Los Angeles Rams ahead of training camp, solidifying a receiving trio of Davante Adams, Puka Nacua, and Amari Cooper. At 31, coming off a down year, Amari Cooper isn't going to break the bank in his first offseason as a free agent. As a perennial postseason contender, the Rams could appeal to the 5-time Pro Bowler, who may want a chance to play in the Super Bowl at this stage in his career. Bleacher Report writes, in Los Angeles, Cooper would join a playoff caliber team that has a well-respected quarterback under center. Nacua, Adams, and Cooper would be one of the league's top receiver trios. And so it is kind of an intriguing route I think the Rams could take. When you're talking about Amari Cooper's perspective, yeah, he is a free agent still at this point, late in July or middle of July right now. And so obviously as we approach training camp and we're getting closer and closer to the regular season, of course, I think Amari Cooper is going to want to start really deciding on what team he wants to play for next year. We did see him get traded to the Buffalo Bills. I thought it was going to be a really sleeper, incredible move for the Buffalo Bills, and ultimately him and Josh Allen never really found themselves on the same page, it seemed like, and so that ultimately didn't work out. Does that mean Amari Cooper doesn't have any game left? I'm not really sure if that's the case. Amari Cooper is a particular kind of receiver, very good route running receiver, not necessarily a throw the ball up kind of deep ball kind of guy consistently. Not like Davante Adams, not like Stephon Diggs, who Josh Allen has seen some success with. Even Keon Coleman as well, that similar type of throw the ball up and let him go catch it kind of guys. Amari Cooper does kind of more of a route running kind of guy, older player as well. He's slowing down a little bit, maybe not as quick in and out of his breaks, dealing with injuries kind of consistently. And so those things are obviously going to pile up to the reason why he isn't signed yet. But it doesn't mean it's reasons why you shouldn't sign the guy. I think he is a young enough player still. I think he still has some game left in the tank. This isn't Keenan Allen we're talking about. And even Keenan Allen, right, no disrespect to him, but he's still got some game left in the tank as an even older receiver, right? But Amari Cooper, a little closer to those prime years, not in his prime at all, but kind of almost in that Davante Adams kind of time of his career. Of course, Davante Adams is a much better player at this point than Amari Cooper, which is why he's signed a long time ago. But overall, I think Amari Cooper does still have some game left in the tank. Is this something you think the Rams should kind of look into and kind of go that route? And if it does happen, do you think it really would strike some fear in division rivals like the Arizona Cardinals? It's clear this article is just afraid of the what-if scenario of this happening, right? Yeah, I think this would strike some fear in a team like the Arizona Cardinals if you sign Amari Cooper. Is it a route the Rams will take? Are they rumored to really take it right now? Not necessarily. Bleacher Report just kind of doing Bleacher Report things, making these kind of what-if, possible, hypothetical scenarios, which is always intriguing to kind of explore. And we'll have to wait and see what Amari Cooper decides to do come training camp. But let me know if you guys are interested in signing a player like Amari Cooper. Moving on from that, we're going to tip the cap and salute a goodbye to an NFL great player in my childhood growing up. Of course, you have the controversies on the field with this particular player, but ultimately always a well-respected, good football player his entire career, if you ask me, from my perspective, and former Rams defensive tackle as well. So a reason why we're bringing this up. Ndamukong Suh announces his retirement from the NFL with a heartfelt message. Shout out to Cameron DeSilva for the story. Suh helped the Rams get to the Super Bowl in his one season with LA back in 2018. Yes, they didn't win that Super Bowl, but he really was a big piece of that Super Bowl team, obviously playing pretty well alongside a guy like Aaron Donald. So obviously, when we're talking about Ndamukong Suh, not a long-time Ram, but ultimately a NFL great who played for the Rams, repped the Rams very well, again, helping carry that team to a Super Bowl appearance at least. And so he ended up getting his ring in Tampa Bay. That was his one and only Super Bowl championship ring. So Ndamukong Suh saying goodbye to his NFL career. July 12th, 2024, it was the hardest day of my life. It's the day I had to say goodbye to my father, the man who raised me, shaped me, challenged me, and believed in me before I believed in myself. He wasn't just a dad. He was my idol, my coach, and my anchor. He taught me that what it meant to be disciplined, focused, and relentless in everything I do. Every snap I took in football carried his fingerprint. Every time I lined up across from someone, I could hear his voice pushing me, reminding me that I wasn't just representing myself. I was representing him, my family, and my name. If you guys really want to go check out the entire tweet, go ahead and go to the Ndamukong Suh's Twitter page or X page. He obviously leaves a little bit more to say there, but ultimately, generally speaking, that's kind of the gist of it. And overall, I just wanted to say congratulations, salute, tip the cap to Ndamukong Suh, a great NFL great, like I said, in my generation. Of course, you had those controversies of him on the field. If you don't know them, then you just don't know them. But a little bit of an interesting player for sure during his time, but definitely someone that was to me, one of the first players that I think, a guy in the trenches, middle of the defense, kind of aside from the Aaron Donalds of the world, really a guy that I thought was kind of bringing a big name to defensive tackles, generally speaking, right? Sometimes they can be a forgotten piece on NFL teams in general, and so Ndamukong Suh kind of bringing that stardom to the inside of the defensive line position. And so ultimately always respected his game, was excited when he joined the Rams to see what he can do. Obviously ended up taking the team, helping the team get to the Super Bowl, ultimately falling short, but nonetheless a NFL great saying goodbye. It's obviously pretty cool to see. We do want to give a little shout out here to his picture. Here's with his family, obviously, with the Rams gear on. That's pretty cool to see that little shout there. And here's my favorite picture of his entire post right here. Obviously talking about his father and what he meant to him in his NFL career. Here is little Ndamukong Suh with his dad right there. Pretty cool picture right there to see. So overall, congratulations, tip of the cap, and a salute to Ndamukong Suh and everything he did on the football field. He does express at the end of his tweet, the second half of his tweet, essentially saying what he wants to do for the second part of his life, his career, right? He's not just a football player, and he has a lot of goals and dreams and aspirations off of the football field that he's going to kind of chase for the remainder of his life. And so obviously really cool to see. Again, I highly encourage you guys to read it, sift through more of the images he posted as well. Pretty cool, heartfelt message overall. Shout out to Ndamukong Suh for that 2018 year. And overall, shout out to you, just an incredible player. And so I want to give a salute and shout out to Ndamukong Suh. Moving on from that, my favorite part of the episode, Trivia of the Day, where I ask a trivia question. You guys give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. For those who missed the last episode's Trivia of the Day, which is actually a couple of episodes ago, I apologize, I'm missing a couple episodes, but what quarterback holds the record for most career rushing yards was the last question that we asked. The multiple choice options were kind of not confusing, but interesting ones, I think, for sure, as we gave you guys the multiple choice options of, was it A, Cam Newton, B, Randall Cunningham, C, Michael Vick, and D, Lamar Jackson. Obviously, a few of you guys played along at home, which I always appreciate you guys for commenting and playing along. The Road J. Will says, gotta be Lamar. Vic started off. Okay, yeah, that's definitely what happened. He did go to jail for that. Would have been easy pick. Let's make it 4 in a row. Enjoy the content, Joshua. Great stuff. Appreciate you, The Road J. Will. Gotta be Lamar was his vote. We had Michael saying Michael Vick, his shoes are in the Hall of Fame. We had Juan saying, what's up, Josh? Appreciate the shout out. What kind of dog do you have? Appreciate you. She's a little literally called a rat terrier, I think is her breed. A little bit of a mix of Chihuahua, I'm pretty sure too. So thank you for asking. On the trivia, I'm going to go Vic. Keep killing it, player. Go Rams. Appreciate you. Juan, we had George saying Vic. We had Thomas saying Michael Vick. We had Blake giving us quite a bit to discuss here. He's talking about, again, shout out to you, Blake. Appreciate you for always commenting. He did shout out, Jared Goff saying, well, he was simply answering a question. Isn't on TV after games and hasn't been for 4 years complaining about what happened. Just trying to do his best with the Lions and probably spending his tens of hundreds of millions of dollars. Somebody asked him a question on the show, and he answered it. I 100% agree, by the way, and I understand that part, and we'll keep shouting you guys out. Just a quick note on the Jared Goff, me saying kind of get over it. I'm not mad at Jared Goff for answering questions about it. I'm just more on, and it's like a documentary style, so he's kind of like giving his story. I totally get it. I'm just more on the side of if I was him, if I was in his camp, or if I'm just him, I think in general, I would just be more on the side of, because the problem with how he answered it was him just saying, like, he wishes there was more maturity on the Rams side. To me, it's a little bit of a dig, and that's how he feels truly, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think a need to say it now at this point on the show at quarterback. I think he could easily just said, it was tough, I dealt with it, and I moved on, I'm happy with the Lions now. And obviously, I'd be a little more detailed about that, but him throwing that little jab and dig at Sean McVay and the entire franchise, generally speaking, was kind of what I was aiming at, of him saying kind of the maturity. He wishes it was handled a little bit better, who isn't so blindsided by it. I understand that's probably truly how he feels, but 4 years later, even if it is a question you're asked, maybe you can kind of be more subtle about how he feels about it. But hey, I digress. Appreciate you, Blake, by the way, for explaining this all, by the way. You guys are sneaky, by the way, giving your other opinions with your trivia guesses, so I have to shout them out. I appreciate you guys and see you guys for sure. I am not mad at him for that. Thanks for in advance for shouting out a blind guy. Thanks for shouting out a blind guy from St. Louis. I'm going to guess that Lamar Jackson has it now. Blake, appreciate you, of course. I'm always going to shout you out if you're playing along with our trivia questions. Thank you for your entire comment. Really appreciate it. Great guess here with Lamar Jackson. Cunningham from Floyd, that's his guess. And then we had Mighty saying pretty easy it will be Lamar Jackson. I'm pretty sure he took the record from Vic. Sorry for that long, kind of winded way to shout everybody out. The correct answer for the trivia of the day was actually Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson just beat out Michael Vick. It was really kind of not a trick question, but he really just beat him out last season. 6,173, just surpassed Michael Vick's 6,109. So not as far as I thought he would have been past Michael Vick, but shout out to Lamar Jackson, of course. Shout out to Michael Vick as well for being that kind of type of quarterback, running quarterback back in the day when it really wasn't too popular of a thing to do. Overall, though, shout out to both quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson does have it. So shout out to you guys who got it correctly. Shout out to Mighty. Shout out to Juan, it looks like. No, he said Michael Vick. Shout out to the real J. Will. Shout out to Blake Harris. And shout out to Mighty for getting those correct. Appreciate all of you guys for playing along, regardless if you got it right or got it wrong. Special shout out to the ones who got it right. If you want to shout out just like these folks on the next Rams Digest episode that I'm on, then play along with today's trivia of the day, which is this question here. Who holds the single-season sack record? That's it. Plain and simple. Who holds the single-season sack record? Is it A, T.J. Watt? Is it B, the great Aaron Donald? Is it C, Michael Strahan? Or is it D, Reggie White? Who holds the single-season sack record? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we'll give a shout-out on the next episode like we just gave a shout-out to those folks right there. Overall, appreciate you guys for tuning in to this episode of the Rams Digest. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, press that subscribe button before you go. That's going to do it for me. I am your host, Joshua Giron, and I am out.